In a world where 98% of humanity lives through flawless robotic surrogates, violent crime is a memory. That illusion of safety shatters when a young man's surrogate is obliterated by an unknown weapon. The attack bypasses every failsafe and kills the human operator miles away, instantly liquefying his brain. This is the first homicide in years, and the weapon responsible could bring the entire global system crashing down. FBI agent Tom Greer is thrown into an investigation where the stakes are not just catching a killer, but preventing the collapse of civilization itself. A clean-cut young man, using a surrogate borrowed from his father, orders his chauffeur to a seedy club. Abandoning a trip to the opera, he pays the bouncer and melts into the cavernous, strobe-lit interior. The club is a sea of perfect, gyrating bodies. He dives into the mess, finds a blonde, and they move wildly before exiting through a back door, locked in a hungry embrace. Their actions are being watched, and the danger is that this unsanctioned trip has made him a target. A helmeted biker appears in the alley. The blonde woman scoffs, dismissing him as a meatbag, a human. The biker raises a strange weapon. A flash of blue light engulfs them. When FBI agents Tom Greer and Jennifer Peters arrive, the alley is a scene of chaos. Both surrogates are destroyed. The male's identity chip fried beyond recovery. With no way to identify him, the investigation hinges on the female's registration, which points them to an operator named Cameron McAllister. They have their first and only lead. Greer and Peters find McAllister dead in his STEM chair, a trickle of blood seeping from his eye. The impossible has happened. A weapon that can kill an operator through their surrogate now exists. How could this be? It functions like a digital key that unlocks the surrogate's core programming, but instead of just gaining access, it sends a fatal surge back to the operator. Later, Greer's own surrogate returns home and deactivates. The real Tom Greer emerges older, balding, and disconnected from his wife Maggie, who only interacts through her flawless surrogate, leaving the shared grief for their dead son to fester in the silence between them. The investigation delivers a bombshell. The unidentified male victim was Jared Cantor, son of Dr. Lionel Cantor, the reclusive inventor of surrogates. Recognizing the catastrophic potential, FBI agent Andrew Stone imposes a total media blackout. If the public learns that using a surrogate can be fatal, mass panic is inevitable. Greer and Peters review security footage and spot the biker deploying the weapon, confirming this is a targeted homicide. The stakes have escalated from a murder investigation to a matter of global security. At Dr. Cantor's opulent mansion, Greer and Peters speak with one of his surrogates. Cantor admits he illegally allowed his son to use his surrogates to feel closer to him. When Greer reveals he also lost a son, the shared pain breaks through the artificial facade. This moment of human connection leads Cantor to a devastating conclusion. The attack was meant for him. In trying to connect with his son, he led him to his death. At VSI headquarters, the world's top surrogate manufacturer, the agents are met with corporate denial. VP Victor Welch and his lawyers insist their fail-safes are absolute. A VSI product cannot harm an operator. Frustrated, Greer and Peters push past them to the engineering department. A technician named Seth Steinberg confirms the victim's chip was overloaded and reveals a critical piece of information. Several military surrogates recently returned from combat with the same damage, their optics burned out. The weapon is not a random invention. It's connected to the military. The military lead hits a wall when Colonel Brendan flatly denies the existence of any such weapon. Back at the FBI, however, Peters identifies the biker as Miles Strickland, a criminal with a recent arrest that was mysteriously voided. He's being protected. The FBI's citywide surveillance network gets an instant match, locating Strickland near the Dread Reservation, a surrogate-free zone. The hunt is on, and the risk is that Strickland will escape into a territory where the FBI has no jurisdiction. Greer is in the air. Strickland is on the ground. A helicopter pursues a motorcycle through the streets of Dorchester. Strickland races toward the restricted airspace of the Dread Reservation. He veers into an alley, dismounts, and turns, raising the weapon. Waves of energy erupt, and the pursuing police surrogates drop. He aims higher. The helicopter pilot slumps over the controls. The chopper is now a pilotless, spinning machine of death, falling from the sky. Greer's surrogate survives the crash, one arm torn from its socket, and continues the chase into the Dread Reservation. The damaged machine performs superhuman feats, leaping across rooftops in pursuit of its target. The Dreads, enraged by the violation of their territory, begin to fight back. Just as Greer corners Strickland, a Dread woman raises a shotgun and fires, blasting the surrogate to pieces. The feedback surge hits the real Greer in his apartment, knocking him unconscious and leaving the killer and his weapon at large. The real Greer is found by Maggie and rushed to a hospital while, in the Dread Reservation, the Prophet demands Strickland reveal who gave him the weapon. Greer awakens to find his boss, Andrew Stone, standing over his bed. Stone suspends him for violating the treaty with the Dreads, stripping him of his badge, gun, and access to a replacement surrogate. What can one man do against a system that has just cast him out? Greer is now powerless, cut off from the investigation, while a killer with an unprecedented weapon remains free. Now, put yourself in Greer's shoes. Forced into the real world for the first time in years, he leaves the hospital. The sounds and crowds overwhelm him. Peters attempts to help by getting him a generic loner surrogate, but the experience feels numb and hollow. Greer rejects it, choosing to continue the hunt as a vulnerable human. He enters the Dread Reservation and is met with a chilling sight: his own destroyed surrogate, crucified on a steel girder, a warning. Inside the reservation, Greer watches Strickland's funeral pyre and confronts the Prophet about the weapon, but is beaten and ejected. As he leaves, he is intercepted by Dr. Cantor, operating a new surrogate. Cantor is certain Strickland didn't act alone. The weapon, he insists, is a sophisticated piece of military hardware, far beyond the Dread's abilities. The implication is clear. This is not an act of fringe terrorism, but a conspiracy that reaches the highest levels. Greer returns home to find Maggie's surrogate hosting a party for users engaging in jacking, a form of illicit electrical stimulation that overloads a surrogate's sensory input for a cheap thrill. He snaps. In a fit of rage, he destroys a guest surrogate and confronts Maggie, begging her to abandon her artificial shell and face their grief together. She refuses, her voice cold and distant through the surrogate. The machine, she explains, is the only thing that allows her to get out of bed in the morning. Their real marriage is as broken as his destroyed surrogate. While the real Maggie disconnects and weeps, Greer uses his credentials to access old FBI files, uncovering a canceled military contract with VSI for an overload device, or OD. At the same time, an intruder murders the real Jennifer Peters in her sleep and hijacks her surrogate, becoming a puppeteer who now remotely controls her body and identity. This new imposter has full control of a federal agent's resources, and the primary danger is that Greer has no idea his partner is now his enemy. Greer confronts Colonel Brendan, who admits the OD was a weaponized virus designed to bypass failsafes and kill operators, a project so dangerous it was supposedly terminated. Meanwhile, the Prophet, now revealed to be a surrogate himself, hands the only existing OD to his followers, ordering them to deliver it to Agent Peters. The weapon is now in the hands of the imposter, who has the means to execute a plan of unimaginable destruction. The hijacked Peters surrogate masterfully manipulates Greer, framing their boss, Andrew Stone, as the conspiracy's mastermind. Taking the bait, Greer confronts Stone at the FBI, disables his surrogate, and steals his classified files. He escapes and gets into a car driven by the imposter Peters, believing he has just exposed the truth. He is unknowingly delivering everything the enemy needs to complete their mission. In the car, Greer discovers the final piece of the puzzle. Dr. Cantor was secretly funding the Dreads. And this is the exact moment where everything changed. The imposter Peters reveals her betrayal. She engineers a car crash, seizes the files and the OD, and flees. Greer, a mortal man, gives chase to a superhuman surrogate. He smashes through city streets, but she vaults over cars and disappears. The chase ends with Greer's vehicle crumpled inside a storefront, the weapon and the truth now in the hands of a killer. Greer contacts FBI System Administrator Bobby, who confirms Peter's surrogate has been hijacked. The hijacker is Dr. Cantor, who takes Bobby hostage in the network's central control room. When Stone's surrogate confronts him, Cantor reveals the truth. VSI hired Stone to kill him. As revenge for his son's death, Cantor uses the OD to kill the real Stone through his surrogate. Dr. Cantor now has sole control of the global network, with a weapon that can kill every user on it. Greer storms Cantor's mansion and finds his secret control room, filled with the surrogates Cantor used to orchestrate the entire plot, including the Prophet. He confronts the real Dr. Cantor, a frail man in a wheelchair who confesses his endgame. He has uploaded the OD's fatal virus to the global network. To heal humanity of its addiction, he plans to murder every surrogate user on the planet. A global reset, paid for in blood. His work done, Cantor swallows a cyanide pill, leaving Greer alone to witness the final countdown to global catastrophe. With the architect of the apocalypse dead at his feet, Greer sees only one path forward. In a desperate, last-ditch effort, he takes Cantor's place in the STEM chair, hijacking the Peters surrogate still in the FBI control room. With the captive Bobby guiding him, he races against the clock. He successfully types in a command to insulate the human operators, shielding nearly 1 billion lives from the fatal virus just seconds before it activates. But he faces one last choice. A second command is queued to destroy every surrogate on the planet. He can save the machines or let them die. What would you do? As an FBI SWAT team breaches the control room, Greer makes his choice. He presses no, choosing not to save the machines and thereby aborting the failsafe that would have protected them. A sniper's bullet rips through the surrogate's head, severing his connection. At that moment, the signal dies globally. Surrogates everywhere fall silent. Their strings cut. The world descends into chaos, but the operators are alive. People cautiously emerge from their homes, blinking in the daylight, surrounded by the lifeless plastic shells of the lives they left behind. Greer returns home and finds the real Maggie in their son's bedroom. There are no surrogates, no filters, only them. He sees the scar on her face, a piece of their shared history she had hidden behind a synthetic mask. She touches his cheek. They hold each other, two real, broken people, reconnecting in the ruins of the modern world. News reports confirm the system is gone. Humanity is, for better or worse, on its own again.